Lucid Dreamers, what's good? We're back with another week of artist recovery. Week 7, past the halfway mark, let's go. This week was recovering a sense of connection. We turned this week to the practice of right attitudes for creativity. The emphasis is on your receptive as well as active skills. The essays, exercises, and tasks aim at excavating areas of genuine creative interest as you connect with your personal dreams. So going into this, I thought it was going to be more of like specifically, and like this book, this course is always going deeper, right? It's not always a straightforward, like, what helps you connect to your genuine interest. So, for example, the way they did this week, I could say has like 4 like main chapters, right? Listening, perfectionism, risk, and jealousy. So, like, again, where it feels like we're always gonna attack creativity, it's always like making room for creativity to happen. And what are the things that block you from doing that? And what are the things that you can do to, cultivate that? So this week was no different. And those 4 chapters were really good, like markers for reestablishing a sense of connection, I feel. That being the case, this week did feel a lot like living in learned behavior, right? How am I living using everything that I've learned from the past weeks, from what I read this past week, being honest with myself about how I am allowing myself to be receptive, how I'm allowing perfectionism to hinder my progress, how often I'm taking risks. I've been intentional about doing that, but like, how deep is it going? Like, jealousy, like allowing myself to come face to face with jealousy that I experience day to day. And these aren't things that feel like lived experience all the time in creativity and life, but I think this chapter, like when I was going through it, it made me realize that I was living with these things. These aren't moments in time that like, oh, risk is something I did then. Perfectionism is something I did with that one thing. Jealousy is something I felt then, Like, these things are all things that are integrated into my way of life to some degree. Once, for example, something sparked jealousy within me, it's not like I felt jealous in that moment and it was done. And sometimes it is like that. But the important parts were the risks that I was living with that I have not been taking that I do need to take. The things that I need to be receptive of that I haven't been allowing myself to receive, that not like, man, I should have listened in that one moment when that person told me this, or when I was sitting alone and I could feel myself, going there. No, like, I'm living with the consequence of being in that. And as a creative, man, my art is me. My art is me. It's a reflection of who I am and what I do and what my life looks like and yeah. So when you realize that everything that you do is tinged with so much, because our lives are lived experience from beginning to end, and I'm a product of all of that. And if I'm living the way I'm living right now, and it's defined by these things that are blocking me from being a free spirit, who am I and who am I becoming because of it? It's a lot, and I can tell that I'm ending off this week almost like with open pages, with an open mind that's left to kind of brew in the idea of this. This idea hasn't come to completion yet. And yeah, I've read about it. I know what she had to say and I understood everything. But I think this is like a lifelong lesson. Past these four things that she highlighted, like, what else am I living with? That feels like it was established in a moment and passed in that moment. But just because I'm not there in that moment in time doesn't mean that it's not alive within me and my identity right now. There's good things that have defined who I am, and there's negative things that have defined who I am. They all make me who I am today. And I think it's gone back to another place of recultivating the sense of giving, right? Of what does being good look like after I separate myself from these things? It's been a crazy week, and it started with a really big blessing. It started with a really big blessing, and I think as well because I feel like I have received so much, especially in terms of peace. I have so much to be grateful for. I can tell that all these things that I am keeping away from myself and keeping away from everybody else, like, why? Why am I letting myself do that? Because when I look at it, like all of this ultimately has to do with, me inside, right? Like my inner being, but listening and perfectionism like directly affect me all the time. And risk and jealousy affects my relationship with other people, right? Like jealousy and risk come from I don't have enough to take a chance on losing what I have, and what I do have isn't enough. And listening and perfectionism comes from actively seeking, like, oh no, it has to be like this, and I have to do this and I have to do that. And like it's almost frantic even when it looks calm. It's almost a desperate pull to make sure that things happen exactly how you want them to happen. But it doesn't work that way, right? The lineage is almost like there is a source of abundance that comes down to gift us everything that we have, everything that we can see, touch, feel, smell, everything that we experience inside and out. And all we need to do is stand with open hands and receive it. I don't have to put so much pressure into me building the thing. I just need to receive and be a conduit of it. And the understanding of that place where it comes from then leans into the ability to take risk. If I feel like this is what I need to do, I'll do it without the fear of losing it, right? If I lose it, I was supposed to lose it. If I don't, great. That's the risk I was supposed to take. But if the risk isn't coming from me, but if I can feel that it's really coming from God, then take the risk, bro. Because it only looks like a risk to us now. But to him, he's like, bro, no, I got you. You know? And then the jealousy too. The jealousy comes from, I have this, but I want more. That person over there has something that I want, but I don't have it yet. But like, we're acting like there's only one opportunity in the world, and if you don't get it, someone else does, like, you're never gonna get it. Or if someone finds success in what they're trying to do, it means that you can have success. And I don't think my jealousy directly ever looks like that, because I have that understanding. But like, one of the things that we had to do was write down like who the people that we're jealous of, why we're jealous, and what action items we can take. And mine were always just things of like, man, I'm really proud of this person for like getting that, but I just wish I had it too. And the action items like that I could do to like overcome that jealousy was just like, just live your dream. Just be who you are, live your dream, do what you gotta do, and live by your truth. And then you'll find that same success, that same gift will be anointed onto you too. Literally, that's literally it. So yeah, I think you can also feel the way that I'm talking about this past week. It feels all over the place because that's where I feel my mind has been on these points. But all of these exercises were again just digging, digging, digging. And I think it was more of a week of gratitude. And I think I've had a lot to be grateful for this past week. And so, hey, grateful for the things that I've had, grateful for the things that I have now, and I'm grateful for the things that I have yet to receive. I think this might have been like artist day. I did a lot of things this past week, but I don't know if I can say I had like a dedicated artist day this week. But I just did a bunch of things. I did a bunch of things, building things and listening to things that I like, enjoying time and playing tennis and all these different things that I really enjoy. I made time for that. I can tell that like there is nothing big that I really wanted to do this past week because I think I did everything that I wanted to do this week. My next artist dates for the next 2 weeks are already planned, like booked, everything. But this past week has been great. It's been great. Morning pages, less so this week. I think this was my worst week of morning pages, but when I did do them, it was more like directly linked to the things that we were going through this past week, but also because I was just waking up heavy. As grateful as I have been, just waking up heavy, I've also been like really back into the doodling. So some of my morning pages are like just pages of like doodling and stuff like that. Like that's the form of expression that I've been going. But yeah, man, I'm excited for what's to come next again. Recovering a sense of strength. Recovering a sense of strength. Week 8. This week tackles another major creative block. Time. I need this. You will explore the ways in which you have used your perception of time to preclude taking creative risks. You will identify immediate and practical changes you can make in your current life. You will excavate the early conditioning that may have encouraged you to settle for far less than you desire creatively. I can definitely tell that I'm holding back. I think that's what's gonna frustrate me like finishing this course is that I'm holding back. I'm changing as a person, and I can tell that the floodgates are opening almost. What am I doing with it? I have all these plans, I have all these things I want to do. What am I doing with it? So as this week continues, man, I just gotta make, and whatever it looks like, just make, just do, just be. And with that, hope y'all good, stay blessed, peace.